Hello, hello. Is that good? Am I on? Good. I don't usually use the mic, so if I'm too loud, please just wave at me. I'm also fluent in Canadian, so hopefully everyone can follow along. Thanks very much, one, for giving me the opportunity to present. I'm sure there's a lot of great presenters out there today that just didn't get the chance, so thanks very much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a quick TechAdvisor demo. Starting right away, of course, we have the Repair Center solution. Now, the Repair Center solution has come a long way. What we've done is we've taken a lot of products and we've merged it into one. We've taken it into one solution. We've taken from what happened way in the past, books actually printed on paper that would sit in the shops, frame dimensions printed on paper that would sit in the shops. We're able to take all that information and slowly bring it electronic. First, of course, with the discs. I don't know if anybody remembered in the past, we had a nice big box with about 40 discs that would come out with had all this information on it. We've now moved it in, of course, to our one platform. So I'm going to take you through a few of those screens. As you can see, I'm at the TechAdvisor screen right now, and I'm going to click on this Ford Fusion. This Ford Fusion is actually a domestic vehicle. So being that it's a domestic vehicle, if anybody wants to try this out to get started, you can download the Quick Start application. You not only get a trial of the entire database for 30 days, but after that 30 days, you get all the domestic repair standards for free. So then that way, if you need to go in later on, Ford, GM, Chrysler, you're pulling it up. You're pulling up that information for nothing. I'm going to start with the repair standards. As you can see, the way it breaks down the vehicle itself, it's going to break it down so you can actually pick a certain area. A great example of what repair standards would be used for is if you're unsure on how to remove and replace a part. Maybe you don't know how to do something with a certain vehicle. Maybe you have new untrained technicians that need that information at hand. Instead of chasing the dealer for the information and wasting time going around looking for that info, you can click into this program. And if you're using our Repair Center application with the shop clock, the techs can actually grab that information from the clock, print it out to use, or view it on the screen. This is very handy for the shop not have to put that together. I've even seen shops, the estimators, knowing the vehicle is going to be, information is going to be needed for that vehicle, they'll actually go ahead and print that out, put it with the folder or the file that goes out back to the car. Once that happens, I'm just going to bring up a graphic so you can see that. Very important information to have, especially when you're getting into things like sectioning. Safety. Maybe the manufacturer doesn't want you to section that vehicle. Maybe the insurance agent is telling you, hey, I need you to section that, I need you to repair that. And now you have a backup, you have proof to say, no, this is what the OE recommends, I'm going to print this out, I'm going to upload this with my file. This is a great tool to have. Of course, it's printed out with graphics as well too, where to make the cuts on the vehicle, where the quarter is. Also, there's graphics available. We'll show things like the impact absorber as well too, so then that way you can see exactly where those cuts need to be made. Now, if I'm going through this screen and I see, hey, there's just not some info there that I think I'm missing some info, I'm going to actually hit this request content button. What this is going to do is it's going to bring up the content concierge. It's going to pre-populate all the information with the vehicle that you're on, and then what you're going to be able to do is send this over to Mitchell. Within 3 hours, you're going to get a response from someone at Mitchell, because we have actual relationships with the OE where we can get that information, either log into their website, whether we actually have to call the OE to get the information, and then we're going to send it back to the shop. So instead of the shop picking up the phone, calling dealer to dealer, which it's very common dealerships have body shops, they might not want to get back to that shop down the street with the information. So this is a way for you to get the information quickly, get it back to the shop so you can do the repair faster. A great example of something as far as using this repair standards is what someone will do is an Audi or it was a Volkswagen that was in a shop. They had no clue how to pull off a side mirror. It was absolutely baffling them. So what they did is they went into this program, pulled up the specs, it told them step by step on how to get that part off. They're able to deliver the car on time. This is something that a lot of people will struggle with. Sorry, Mr. Insurance Company, I wasn't able to get that fixed. I don't have the proper information from the manufacturer yet. This is eliminating that. If I just jump back to the main screen here, right? As you can see, that's the repair standards, and of course it gets a lot more in depth and it goes through the entire every section of the vehicle itself. I'm going to go up to another important section, vehicle dimensions. Vehicle dimensions, of course, has been around for a long time. You're probably familiar with the manuals. Often you get the old guy in the shop that brings out the book to the car, puts it on top, sits there, does the work. He's got it there in front of him. We can still offer that. We can still offer the ability to print the file out so they can have that sitting on the car so they can still do their thing. But if they're using the shop clock, they can just go in and grab it themselves, or an estimator can pre-prepare it for them, or they can just look off the screen and get the information they want. Once they actually produce the graphic itself, what you're going to get is you're going to get a bunch of points where it's measured from. You're going to get a bunch of points where it's measured from, but if I actually scroll down a little bit here, see how I have A to O? What that is actually doing is it's showing me where the holes were that it was measured from. And also too, if you look in the corner here, you're going to have where it is that it's actually measured. And if you notice the graphic just loaded above, and you can actually see where those pieces are. So this is where it's actually taking the measurements from. If I click on any of these graphics, you'll notice that they have a little picture that will pop up. There's a picture that pops up that actually shows what Mitchell has taken when they bring that vehicle into the shop itself. Now, we get this information ourselves. We have a facility that's actually very close to here that will measure the vehicle. We have staff that pulls that vehicle in, takes photographs, takes measurements, does the point measurements, takes photographs of the vehicle, and then publishes it into the system. We can do quite a few cars at once, and our goal is to have as many as we can in the system. Of course, not every manufacturer will offer us up that vehicle, but we'll do our best to chase it down to get it in. If I look just below, back to the graph below here, what you'll have is the points of where they're actually measured, what the undamaged measurements are. If I was to click on an area and put in the actual damaged measurement, it's going to then give me a report that I can print out and generate to go along with the file itself. Now this is important, especially when you're dealing, I know for myself, in Canada, we have any structural rebuild or any structural work that's done. In order for that vehicle to be certified again, you have to have an electronic spec to go along with it for the government to approve that vehicle again. It's part of the process. So if you're unable to generate that information, this is the product you would need for that. And this is just the frame information itself. And of course, you have the chassis as well. So if you need to print out this graphic, you can print it out. It also gives you options to zoom. So if, let's say I just want the front end for the guy with the poor eyesight in the back that's putting the book on the car, he can actually take a look at this. He can see the information nice and clear, and then they just get the point that they might need. And also too, what you get is the upper body. With the upper body, this is something that's not readily available with other programs, is you can get, of course, the underhood information, but too, like the pillar to pillar, the door openings, and of course the tailgate openings as well too. Very powerful information to have when you're repairing the vehicle itself. Now what I'm doing, I'm just going to click on this Malibu up here. Now what I'm doing is I'm just jumping back to our repair center management program, which is also available. But what it can also do, if you notice when you're in the repair order itself, I have a little TechAdvisor button up here. So not only can I go into the library to access this information, I can click on the TechAdvisor button and it's going to bring up that specific vehicle that I'm working on within the repair order. It's a great thing to have. It's going to bring up the information you have, and then you can access it from there. Taking one step further, what we've also done is the book information. The printed manuals, they've been available for quite a long time. I believe it was 46. I mean, someone might correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 46. What you're going to have is that information available online. Now, not only is it handy for the person writing a basic estimate, maybe searching a part number or a price, but what they're actually able to do is click on that information and they can write an estimate from it. They can search a part. They can print out the graphic for someone in the back. Maybe they're ordering a part, unsure of what the parts counter at the dealer is unsure what they're talking about. They can print the graphic from here, send it over to them without confusion. And this is lined up just like our estimating system. As you can scroll through, you can grab the different areas and of course the graphics as well too. So there's an example of one of our graphics, and the part prices are updated as well too. Because this platform is hosted, all this information is very current and very up to date. One thing I'm going to jump over to now, the wiring diagrams. If I pull up a wiring diagram spec here, not only is it color and printable, I'm actually able to isolate routes. What I can do is I can actually, there we go. Just a little security protection there. as it comes up, what you can do is you can actually isolate routes. So for example, too, if you just wanted to see a certain area, while it's loading, it'll just take a sec. You can isolate an area, you can see the graphic, you can print it in color, but also to black and white if you didn't actually need to print it in color. It's very simple to use, and again, the technicians can access it on the floor. The estimator can bring it up as the car comes in, thinking it might need some wiring work done as well too. So what I'm just going to jump to now, some of the neat things, we can get to that some other time. What we can actually do with the powertrain here, for example, some of the information that's available here is things like you would normally have to chase the dealer for. Torque specs, just general mechanical info, OE bulletins that are on that vehicle. This is all available within this package. Now, some people might look at this and say, this is a lot of info. I don't think I need everything. Well, you don't have to get everything. You can get pieces of it. You just want dimensions, we'll give you dimensions. You just want wiring diagrams, we can do that. So it's to your benefit, of course, to get the full package, because the pricing then is, of course, a little bit less, because we can combine the whole thing together. Electrical system and components. It's going to show you the similar information. Also, two restraint systems. Of course, seatbelt information, things like that. This is information that you're going to need when you're repairing a vehicle. Now, one other thing we have here before I'm finished up, I'm just going to go into service and maintenance. One of the greatest things about this, what happens when the car drives down the road? 2 days later, after the repair is done at the shop, service check engine light comes on. What's going to happen? They're back at your shop complaining that you messed it up. That could have been ongoing. Maybe the oil change wasn't done the last time the dealer touched the car. This allows you to go through, check that, the indicator lights, make sure it's reset properly, but also to give you that information to make sure that that customer is going to give you a happy service. I hope I've covered off all this information. Now, it's a lot of info to take in, but how about you don't take my word for it? Head out to www.mitchellrepaircenter.com. When you download the Quick Start application, it's going to give you 30 days on the entire database, and then after that, you get the repair standards, domestic repair standards, at no charge. Thank you very much.